is right after that sometimes contentious phrase, under God. It's the word indivisible. This nation grew great by assimilating those who came to these shores for a new and a better life. And as long as we remain indivisible, we remain strong. Let's not give that up. Let's not divide. Let's rally around Senator Newman's resolution and the sentiments expressed here today and remain indivisible as together we stand against hate.
Our next speaker is Supervisor Katrina Fuller.
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. I'm Katrina Foley. I am the county supervisor representing the 5th District, and the 5th District is filled with beautiful different cultures, and it's such a diverse community. I have really enjoyed getting to know all about the residents and their celebrations and their activities that celebrate their culture. Thank you, Senator Newman, for always being courageous and bold and doing the right thing, passing SCR 15 and declaring January 28th as Stand Against Hate Action Day. But I think every day should be Stand Against Hate Action Day. I mean, we really need to make a commitment as a community that we will stand against hate. And thank you, Senator Huff and May for your tireless advocacy to show that diversity and inclusion, it makes us a better, stronger community. Hate hurts us all. We in Orange County have an unprecedented amount of hate incidents that we are documenting. Unfortunately, since the pandemic, we have seen a 5,000%, I don't even know how you calculate 5,000% increase in Asian hate in our community. Our beautiful, diverse community that has so many Asian cultures in it, and we're seeing a 5,000% increase in hate here. Hate hurts us all. Over the 5 years, our Orange County Human Relations Commission has been documenting the incidents of hate in Orange County. And what we're showing is that we have overall, as to all incidents of hate, 165% increase in hate in Orange County. That is unacceptable. We are showing that in California, while there's a 61% increase over the last 5 years, in Orange County, this is not an above average number that we are proud of. 73% increase. So we are above the state average in terms of hate incidents. And in addition to our Asian friends who are subject to hate incidents at 5,000% increase, our LGBTQ plus friends are also experiencing hate incidents at 2,100% increase. In our Black community, 525% increase. And fortunately, we're seeing lower numbers, but still too much hate against anti-Semitic hate at 26%. And we see an increase in hate against our Latino friends 2 times the numbers over the last 5 years. So in all categories, we are seeing an increase in hate. So what do we do about it? As a county board, the Orange County Board of Supervisors is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for being here. In our support of our Human Relations Council, we contributed $1 million to invest in investigations of hate incidents, in outreach and education. We are expanding the in-language capabilities for our staff to be able to assist with hate incidents. We are improving victim assistance, and we're trying to raise awareness through our Hate Hurts Us All campaign, because hate truly does hurt us all. I mean, when I just look around this room at the diversity of individuals who are all here today to share a common value that we want our community to be unified and to be inclusive, this lifts us up And so we all need to come together. As a call to action for individuals, I call on you. If you see hate, say something. For too long, we sit back and someone says something inappropriate that you feel you all cringe, but you don't say anything because you want to be polite. Well, it's impolite to be hateful. So please say something. I call on you to check yourself. Check your own implicit biases. And do more to educate yourself about the different beautiful cultures that are here in Orange County and throughout our beautiful golden state of California. Commit yourself to sharing diversity and to supporting our diverse communities. As a community, what can you do to root out hate? You can, again, as a community organization, as an employer, as a nonprofit, as a government agency, reject hateful comments, reject hateful incidents, reject hate in your workplaces. As a 26-year employee rights attorney, I spent my career fighting against discrimination and retaliation based on race, gender, and all the other protected classes. And so hate is real and it hurts people. It causes them deep emotional pain. It causes them to be unable to work, unable to care for their family members, and it causes people to question the very essence of who they are. And so I urge you to reject hate at all costs. I just want to share a story. At the Board of Supervisors, we've seen this firsthand in our meetings where people come to the podium and they think it's okay to attack our Supervisor Doe, who immigrated here and is living the American dream from when he immigrated here from Vietnam. And they attack him. They call him a communist. They tell him to go back to China. I mean, this is just outrageous. And we stand with him and against him, and we have stood up to that. At our Board of Supervisors meetings, we've heard from people coming who were against the vaccine and who thought that it was comparable to the Holocaust. We stood up against that hateful rhetoric. I encourage you to do what you can to spread values of diversity and stand against hate. And as elected officials, hate hurts us all. And we all need to stand together, and we need to pass resolutions. We need to set policies. We need to hire diverse individuals to work in our offices so that they reflect the people that we're serving in the community. And so keep dialoguing, keep these conversations going. I'm privileged to be able to be here, and I encourage you all to speak up and stand against hate. And again, thank you, Senator Newman.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Foley. We're located today in the beautiful city of Irvine, and it's my pleasure to introduce next Irvine's Mayor, Farrah Khan.
Well, thank you, everyone. I'm Mayor Farrah Khan with the City of Irvine, and first of all, I just want to thank Senator Huff, May, Senator Newman for making sure that we, in the state of California, recognize that hate is an issue and that action must be taken. I'll go over a few statistics before I delve into what's actually happening here in Orange County and Irvine. And I want you to understand that in 2022, in Irvine, we saw more hate crimes versus hate incidents. And the majority of them were targeted towards our Black community and our API community. And that went both for the hate crimes and the hate incidents. On the UCI campus, we saw an increase in race incidents, hateful race incidents. But in the last 3 months of 2023, we had more reported incidents based on race and a few based on religion. So it's not stopping. The hate crimes, the hate incidents are not stopping, and we need to do more to make sure that we stop it once and for all. For us in the city, we decided to create an online reporting portal through our Irvine Police Department. And that portal included people being able to submit pictures and videos reporting incidents that they underwent in 7 different languages. Even with making it more accessible, we're seeing underreporting of incidents. And that's a target that we need to meet as well. How do we get our community members to feel comfortable, safe, to report what they're going through? As you heard from the supervisor before, we're seeing tremendous amounts of increases when it comes to hate-related issues. And that's still with those that still don't report it. So what can we do? I know in our city, we decided to hold a session with our Orange County Human Relations Commission to teach people how to not be bystanders, but be upstanders. How do you step in safely and protect those that are victims of hate crimes and hate incidents? We need to do more when it comes to taking action. We passed resolutions, and I know many other cities did as well as the county, but today is all about our next steps. What steps are we going to take to protect the most vulnerable in our communities? And for me, I'm here to say that I'm committed to make sure that we do everything that we can to protect our communities. And that's working with our county, our state, and our federal representatives. Making sure that we're taking every opportunity to speak up and to teach others to speak up and take the necessary actions so that the world understands that hate will not be tolerated. In Irvine, we faced hate in so many different forms, including myself, who was targeted by white supremacists. They hung banners over our freeways with my name on it. And that is another reason why I'm fully committed to stand up and make sure that no one, absolutely no one, feels unsafe in our city. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next speaker is Vice Mayor of Irvine, Tammy Kim.
Thank you. Welcome to Irvine. Thank you, Senator Newman, Senator Huff, May, and for all the elected officials coming out here today to this great city of Irvine. Hate really does have a lasting effect on our communities. And I come here not only as the Vice Mayor for the city of Irvine, but also as a leader of a nonprofit organization serving the API community here in Orange County and in Irvine. Racial trauma affects all of us. As Katrina Foley, Supervisor Foley shared, we talk about mental health, we talk about the impact that it has on our community. So it's not just isolated to an individual. And as Mayor Khan shared, the hate is not going away. We have had a tremendous amount of increase as it relates to hate crimes and hate incidents, especially in the city of Irvine. I'm proud that we established the very first hate crime, hate incident portal in multiple languages because it was necessary for our own police to understand what was happening in our own communities. We cannot outsource data collection. And so we've seen this, but it's not being reported enough. We also, in 2021, introduced an anti-Asian hate resolution, which passed, confirming that we as a city of Irvine would stand against anti-Asian hate. Last year, I hosted a roundtable with various API nonprofit organizations with Attorney General Rob Bonta to talk about what was happening. And just last week, I hosted Congresswoman Judy Chu to talk about the release of the murderer of Kenny Chu. The killer was released, but the family was not notified. And so we met with the DA's office. It was a brutal anti-Asian hate crime that had occurred, resulting in Kenny's Law that was passed by then Assemblywoman Judy Chu. And so we talk about all these things in terms of what is actually getting better. And the silver lining in all of this is the fact that as an Asian American community, our voices are now being lifted up. Where we have great elected leaders, such as everyone here in the room, who are doing all they can and are saying like they will stand up against hate. And so thank you so much, Senator Newman, for all that you do. But we have to remember that as much as we do as elected officials, we cannot policy our way out of hate. Hate can only be eradicated through proper education, which is why I've been an advocate and proponent for Asian American studies and ethnic studies in the California state curriculum. And we also have to remember that there is an intersection between hate and racism and misogyny. And we also have to fight against, as Asian Americans, our perpetual foreigner status. And as Supervisor Foley described, Andrew Doe being attacked, whether it's me being less of an American, people coming to the chambers. These are all the things that we collectively need to stand up against. We need to use our voice and we need to say, this is not acceptable. We're going to stand with our Asian American elected officials and not make them feel that they're a foreigner and they should be grateful to be American. And so, again, I leave you here today with those words, and again, thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Our next speaker is Diamond Bar former mayor and current city councilman Steve Tye, who, just in case you don't know where Diamond Bar is, it's over the county line, you know, just on the other side, but just as important as anything in Orange County.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. You know, I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really encouraged that the Senate of California and the Assembly of California came together on an issue that they all agree on. And you realize this is not a Democrat issue, and this is not a Republican issue. This is a human rights issue. And I agree with Supervisor Foley that it seems a little silly to me that we're going to choose a day out of 365 that we're going to stand together against hate. We got to be doing that every single day, every opportunity that we have. And I think of, in my mind's eye, I see this sweet little old lady walking down the street in San Francisco and being barreled over by somebody for God only knows what reason that person would choose to do that. And what bothers me the most about it is certainly that happened, but that somebody's there with their phone. Somebody's there with a cell phone, taking a picture of it, looking at her sitting on the sidewalk, and I'm thinking, isn't anybody going to do anything? And now we have the opportunity every January 28th to do something. Shouldn't be limited to that, but we have the opportunity to say, we don't accept this. My colleague from Diamond Bar, Councilmember Ruth Lowe, will attest to the fact that every meeting, when we're talking about public safety, I remind our residents, if you see something, say something. And I would alter that to say, if you see something like happened in San Francisco, Do something. Put your phone down and do something. Chase that guy, help her up, do something. Let's all agree that we will do something about this scourge that when people do it and it's not addressed, and these days, certainly in Los Angeles County, I don't think you would be arrested for it. So perhaps we should take it into our own hands and say, that's not acceptable. Don't do it. We like to say in Dime Bar, if you're going to do that, if you're going to steal something, don't do it in Dime Bar, because we will catch you. Now, what the district attorney does is a different story, but we do have to stand together, and we do have to address it and say, enough is enough. We're at a point where we are. You're right, Chairman Wagner, that it's a divisive time. It's a divisive. We're living in divisive times. That's not a reason to step back and go, well, golly, it's just the way it is. Do something about it. And Senator, again, with a Democrat, Senator Newman, thank you very, very much. Thank you, former Senator Huff, for doing this and taking action. Here we all are on a Saturday saying, we agree, let's do something about it. Thanks very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Our next speaker is Aiden Chow, a student leader in high school, and I'm sure you'll be impressed with him as we have been too. Come on up, Aiden.
Well, I want to thank you all. I'm very encouraged by the fiercely bipartisan crowd that we see in the room today. We've got Democrats, Republicans, Independents, and everything in between. And I'm very happy to see that we've got elected officials, like all of you here, standing up for what we believe is right. We've got a set of values in this country, in this county, in LA County where I'm from, and even in our school where my vice presidents Caitlin and Matthew go with me. And those values are ones of unity, of respect, of inclusion, of all races, genders, and beliefs, and of dialogue. It's all about respecting each other, being open to each other, and being able to voice opinions in this nation. This American experiment was built on everybody being able to voice their opinions, and in the end, creating a system where those opposed to each other can still stand together and unite under our flag, under our country, and under our God. And so that's why I'm so proud to introduce the next generation of student leaders. Between myself and my vice presidents, we have created the inaugural chapter of Act Against Hate Alliance's student division in high schools, which we seek to branch out across the country, or across the state. What we would like to do is work with our local elected officials, work with our communities, and work with our schools to expand dialogue and action about hate. This is an issue that impacts us no matter our age, and that is why it is so critical for us to address it no matter where we are in life. Though we don't have the power to vote, we still have the power to impact. We still have the power to address this issue in our communities and in the ways we can. Which is why I'm so proud to be working with many city councils, especially where I'm from, in the San Gabriel Valley, along with our students, to introduce resolutions codifying January 28th as Stand Against Hate Action Day. I want to thank Senator Newman and the Assembly of California of passing this on a statewide level. Now we want to do it in every single city, as I believe it is critical to introduce this kind of action in every single city by itself. And that is why I'm so proud to be working with our students on this effort, as we are the future of the United States. Without students and without future leaders, it's going to be a hard fight to make this country one of the best, and one of the best that it'll ever be. And we're shaping the future by acting now. And that is why, no matter if we're Republicans or if we're Democrats, we must act against what divides us, the rhetoric that divides us, and stand for what unites us. So I want to thank everybody, and God bless the United States.
Thank you, Aiden. And I skipped over, I apologize, Benjamin Yu, a council member from Lake Forest, is with us. Benjamin, like to say a few words?
First of all, I want to thank Senator Bob Huff. We got to know each other many years ago when we formed the community against the ICA-5, which is affirmative action. As an American, as an immigrant, as a veteran of very first elected official, was born in mainland China and grew up in three major liberal states, New York, Washington, California. I understand what this means here and what we stand for. And what we need is united. We stand. At the end of the day, we cannot legislate ourselves out of hate, but we can show the community we stand together as one American. Today, I think Senator Josh Newman for his legislature that show we really care, but there's more work to come. We need to continue work together to bring the community together, show we are the people, we are the one. At the end of the day, it's not Republican, not Democrat, not independent, but we are the one person, church, the same value, every way life to roll. And again, really glad to see so many community members here to stand together. And as a city council member, newly elected Lake Forest City Council, one of the very first Asian Americans, I just proposed, we add to our city legislative platform regarding the opposition against ICA affirmative action, as well as propose the Asian American Month for May, because I believe the representation, the perspective matters, and I hope more Asian Americans participate in this arena, like the leadership we see here, to advance our common values. Thank you so much for the opportunity here, and thank you again for Senator Bob Huff's invitation.
And congratulations, that's democracy in action. He got pulled in by something that irritated him, now he's making decisions that are irritating other people. It's all good. The next person that wants to speak is not with us in person, so I'm not sure how this is all going to work, but please roll the video. David Chan is a sophomore at UC Berkeley, Cal, and I believe he lives in Yorba Linda.
As our culture rapidly changes and develops over time, it's important for us to remember that if we empower the younger generation and start this movement that Senator Bob Huff and Mei Huff are launching, this is how we begin to deteriorate the cultural and targeted hatred little by little over time as we cultivate a generation that works to truly coalesce our diverse communities across the entire United States. As our culture rapidly changes and develops over time, it's important for us to remember that if we empower the younger generation and start this movement that Senator Bob Huff and Mei Huff are launching, this is how we begin to deteriorate the cultural and targeted hatred little by little over time as we cultivate a generation that works to truly coalesce our diverse communities across the entire United States. As our culture rapidly changes and develops over time, it's important for us to remember. As our culture rapidly changes and develops over time, it's important for us to remember that if we empower the younger generation and start this movement that Senator Bob Huff and Mei Huff are launching, this is how we begin to deteriorate the cultural and targeted hatred little by...
It won't be too long.
That if we empower the younger generation and start this movement that Senator Bob Huff and Mei Huff are launching, this is how we begin to deteriorate the cultural and targeted hatred little by little.
Let me give everyone an instruction here. Don't leave yet, okay? Because we will take at least one group photos, and also maybe individually as well. And then maybe some of the media will like to interview you, and we can go into the other room where we can conduct the media interview. Okay? And after that, you're free to go to the cafeteria area. We'll have lunch there.
Before we disperse, though, let me just make a few closing comments. First of all, I appreciate all of you taking time out of your day to acknowledge this. The whole intent behind SCR 15 was not just to recognize hate, we already do that, is to take action. That's why it's a Stand Against Hate Action Day. And there's our hope that people will find something to do themselves. You know, what can you do? This last year I read in a book by Dr. Martin Luther King, and his perspective 50 years ago was just amazing, and yet, you know, he paid the ultimate price for his views. We have to be willing to do that as well. But we want you to not only do something, but then to tell a friend. Post it on social media. Start this little grass fire of opposition to hate. If you see something, say something. Interestingly, Orange County, we had a deputy DA on that said, you know, proving intent is the difference between a hate incident and a hate crime. And there's a lot of hate crimes that go unprosecuted because they can't prove the intent, or they don't think they can make the case. LA County's taken it a step further, and they record and catalog all hate incidences as well as crimes. So that gives a more comprehensive view of what's happening. But everything we see, no matter which metric, and there's all kinds of metrics out there, but I think we can all agree it's out of control and we have to do something. So again, thank you for being here today. And it's really good to see such a cross-section of leadership representing everybody here. You know, we'll not accept hate because hate is unacceptable. We will do our part, inspired by January 28th by SCR 15 to stand against hate, and we will not stop. We will not be silenced until hate crimes are stopped and hate itself is silenced. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, sir.
We all look right here. 3, 2, 1. Of course.
I know what you're doing, man. You're going to be able to pop me out.
3, 2, 1.
This side, please.
都是在频道里面，在 Facebook 上面都有，报上他们那个相当于只是要稍微找一下。你是云智网吗？
不是。要 interview 他们个人吗？Do
you want to have an interview with the elected officials? 去吗？